So I wanted to film outside. Then it started raining, which was cool. Kind of with the subject matter. But then my neighbor started clanging around on his dock. That wasn't cool. So, breaking all the laws of photography. Oh, jeez. This is nuts what people do to do these videos. Check it out. I got 4 soft boxes beaming on me. This is something I never shared before. So, I don't even like to call him my dad, really, because I think a dad has certain respect tied to the word. I just generally call him the old man. He didn't do anything horrific. He just was rarely around. I'm not here to say like he was the worst guy ever. I know there's people that have so much worse, and so I've never really told the story. It's kind of a messed up thing. He never hurt me physically. So let me tell you my earliest memory I can remember. And I remember moving when I was 6, so it's way before that. We were living in an apartment, just me and my mom, and it was late at night, and it's not in the worst town, but it certainly wasn't in the best town. I remember just being scared because there were like 2 guys fighting outside our apartment door. I'm telling you, I was very little. I knew there's nothing I could do to save us, or I just remember my mom being scared and I was being scared, and you could hear them tumbling, and I just remember praying that the door would hold, because I was just scared. I didn't know what was going on. But I do know one thing. It was just me and my mom. I was born an only child. And my mom was like 40, which the doctors advised her at that time. I'm talking 1966, right? So it's like there weren't a whole lot of 40-year-olds having children. And he advised her to abort the baby, so the old guy wouldn't have been here if she followed his advice. Maybe that's why I'm not the healthiest thing around. I should say at that point in time, my dad was... we don't know his exact age, but best we can determine he was about 60. And he sold cars for a living, a new car salesman. He did that for ages. In fact, at one point, he was the longest serving new car Chevrolet salesman. I think he on his card, he had, it was pushing 50 years, and they gave him a nice ring. It was a nice thick gold with a big diamond ring. There was a thing called Legion of Leaders that he belonged to, and so when he retired, he won that. And that comes into the story. This could be a multi-part story. In essence, the old man would just come and go. He never spent the night. Ever. He would come about once a week, maybe twice a week for an hour and then take off. It had gone on for so long, I never thought twice about it. He sold cars at a place called Billwing Chevrolet in Dearborn, and he would take me there sometimes as a little kid. He would, what he called, lock up at night. He had a whole procedure. He would go through it and turn off certain breakers, so certain lights would go off, and make sure he would turn off the air compressor and the mechanics thing and let it bleed down. I remember it being psh, so loud. But like I say, he sold cars, but I think they paid him extra to kind of do this lockup thing. They had a new car showroom, and then they had a mechanics area, and they had like a shower where the guys could shower and wash their hands, and they had like lockers and such. But he would turn off all these different lights and set the burglar alarm, lock the doors, and then take me back home. I might go out there a couple times a year with him, but that was our father-son thing. That's like what we did. And I don't even remember asking specifically my mom, where's the old man going, why is he leaving? Or it just was always that way. When you're brought up with something, it's just like, that's just the way it is. It's always been that way. And so what's funny is I'd say about 16 years old, 17 years old, had a girlfriend over, and we're doing homework. Like, say, the old man might come around 8:30, 9, and then maybe stay till 10, 10:30 or whatever. And I basically stayed in the basement of the house. And, my mom and they were upstairs or whatever. But then he would call down, say goodbye, or good night, or I'm leaving, or what have you, and I'd be bye. It was just always that way. And like I say, he only came around about once a week or whatever. And we didn't have like a super close relationship. So, and I remember her asking, where's your dad going? He's kind of late. I said, well, he's going back to work. She's like, well, he sells cars. They don't sell cars at night. I said, no. He locks up and they pay him to stay there, and like, kind of like, sleep there, whether it be a night watch or something. I never even thought of it. She's like, he sleeps there? I'm like, yeah, he watches the place at night in case the alarm would go off, or he'd call the police, or I don't know what. She's like, that sounds pretty bogus. And like, I never even questioned it. I mean, I've been told that, or that was even an understanding. That's just how it was. The sun comes up in the morning and the old man goes, and he stays at work. Well, he doesn't stay with us, and where else? I don't know where he would stay. She's like, that just doesn't make any sense. And where does he sleep? I'm like, I don't know. They got some mechanic room there. They got a shower. And I don't know. Maybe he sleeps in his office. I don't know. I never thought about it. Maybe he's got a cot somewhere. So it didn't make a lot of sense. She wasn't. I started thinking, this is really weird. I mean, I guess it's kind of like if you were told all your life that there's Santa Claus and nobody ever told you any different, right? To shatter that illusion, you would grow up thinking that there is Santa Claus or something. I just never questioned it. I know it sounds soft. Actually, it sounds very naive, and I am sort of naive and simple, I guess, that way. So she kind of broke that illusion, and it was definitely shattered. Like a couple years later, he was going to retire, and he was going to go back down south. He always wanted to go back down south. He was from Tennessee. He had a farm in Tennessee. He would tell me about the farm when I was a young boy. He would say, hey, I'm not going to be around for a couple weeks. Not like he was around much, but I'm going to be gone for a couple weeks. And like, wow, what's wrong, Well, I'm going down south, going to Tennessee, going to the farm. I'm like, oh, yeah. And he'd tell me all about the farm. I mean, I was 6, 8, 10, and I'd be, oh, man. Everything about the farm I loved. They got great big fireplace, and they'd do this and do that, and go fishing and go hunting, and all the things that a little boy wanted to do, and they had dogs, and he had everything I loved, I was into all that stuff, and he would paint it out how it was, like, oh man, I want to go. Can I go, Dad? I want to go. I want to see it, No, you just, I'll take me. We'll go next year, And then, all right. Next year would come, and obviously, I never did go to Tennessee and see it. He was going to retire and go to Tennessee. He was up in age, and I think he knew his days were pretty well numbered. He was finally going to give it up. He said, look, I've got, like I say, he sold cars. So he would get the deal on cars that people would turn in. He had a used car that was still nice. He kept it in his garage forever and would never drive it, just maybe around the block once a year, whatever. So he had super low miles. It was like a Caprice. He always loved a Caprice. The car was probably worth, say, maybe 10 grand. So he said, look, I'll give you either the car or the ring. Maybe the ring was worth 10 grand or something, which do you want? And I said, he's like, that's what you're gonna, get. I'm going to live down south. So that, he's gone. Right, good, cool, that's fine. I said, yeah, I'll take the ring, So he's like, all right. He's like, why don't you come over, meet me at this address at 12 noon, and why don't you help me pack some stuff? So I go there, and it's a house. He's like, let's get all the stuff out of the basement. I can remember this like it was yesterday. So I go down there, and there was like boxes of brand new stuff. There were 3 or 4 brand new extension cords, good ones, still like, in the plastic, in the container, whatever. They're brand new, never been used. All kinds of stuff like that, tools. I'm like, holy cow! I'm like, is this your? What are we doing? And we're not like, I mean, obviously we're not like hiding or anything. I'm like, who we moving? He's like, this is my house, and this is my stuff. We got to move it, take it upstairs, and get it out to the car. And I'm thinking to myself, wow, me and my mom. I mean, extension cords was. I'll say we weren't hungry. We didn't go hungry. We were poor, but we didn't go hungry. But we would eat a lot of mac and cheese, and we didn't have a lot of meat in the house. Yeah, we didn't have like brand new extension cords. I mean, the stuff we had's been frayed and taped up, for example. It's got more tape on it than it does real cord. So I'm like, wow. I mean, and this was a nice house in Dearborn, I mean, it had a nice fireplace. It was pretty nice, I'm like, holy cow. The old man, he did all right for himself, Just as a funny aside, the old man always fancied he wanted to been a preacher. He said if he could have done, he would have been a preacher. And I'm thinking, this is pretty weird. I go in the bathroom to do my business, and I see there's a Bible sitting there. I'm like, well, we're moving everything out of here. Let's see. And it's got like his wife's name, So in the Bible, I'm like, I guess she had passed, Like I say, he was old now. So, I mean, it's kind of overwhelming at that point in time, I mean, that's a lot to hit you all at one time. So it's like, okay, now it's kind of making sense why the old man was never around at night. He had a house and a wife, and so in comes a lady, and she's about 50 years, now I'm 20, say, she's probably 50s. And she's got some kids, and kids are like, hey, Papa. And she's like, hi, Dad. And I'm thinking, okay, he's her dad. So we're like some sort of like, she's 50, I'm 20. And she's like a sister type of thing to me. I've never known about or heard about. And like, she knew about me, but I didn't know about her. She was totally comfortable with this thing. And I was floored. I was shocked. And it was just like one of those things, like, you're just totally, you think you're being punked or something. It's like a lot to absorb. So, anyways, I don't have any pictures of the old man. I don't know if we ever took a picture together. We never did a lot together. So I guess now it made sense, like, why he never came around much, because whenever he would come around, it would always end up in a fight. Now I can see why that would happen. And looking back, all he can do is laugh. I mean, I was so naive and believed such a lie, hook, line, and sinker, My uncle, he had a decent job at Ford, and he helped my mom get a house. We moved out of the apartment. Well, we didn't have a lawnmower at that point in time. And the old man certainly wasn't going to be around to mow the grass. And I was so little, I couldn't pull a ripcord, to start a gas mower. They got a Craftsman electric little electric mower that you had to use a cord, right? A mower, usually has the handle you push at that a normal adult would push at. Well, that was like up here for a little kid, so you didn't have any leverage, but it was made where it could fold over, so there was a middle bar. So I would get I would get inside the thing, so the handle would actually be behind my head, and I would push from the middle bar, which it wasn't the safest, but they didn't have all the safety stuff. Once you turned on the switch, and and you just made sure you didn't hit the extension cord, which I said it had more black tape on it than it had orange plastic, but I was careful because you knew you weren't getting a new extension cord. But so this has been a ramble. I did not know I was going to go on. It is like therapeutic, though, right? You guys are all my therapists. But the funny thing is, I got word from, let's call her Mary, who was my 50-year-old sister of sorts. Half sister, whatever. Just want to let you know, and I did not ask, well, when's I figured, what? All these years, 20 years or whatever, my dad never took me to Tennessee. There is no way I'm going down there now. So, hey, right or wrong, I have no regrets. He didn't want me down there then. I wasn't going to go down there. I never heard from her again except for one time after, and she called and said, Dad always talked about he had a Legion of Leaders ring, and he brought down all of his stuff, and we never did see that ring. Do you know what happened to that ring? Like, I don't know about no ring. Well, so the takeaway from it, the lessons learned, I would say is, I don't know. I think I came through it okay. I wonder if I had a dad around, how I might have changed, how things might have been different for me. But I guess what I try to do is be a better dad. And Ben and my kids might not agree, but I do try to spend some time with them. I mean, I guess I should take them, on big adventures, and I haven't done that as much as I probably should, but I guess I always figured I would rather live at a vacation place instead of go there for a week and then come home. So, I always thought living on the water was nice. I wanted to be there for my kids anyways, and I think I've tried to do that pretty good. Anyways, thanks for watching.